So I don't see Todd unless I'm missing him. Deborah's here. And Christy, is Christy here? I don't see her. So Christy's not here. May is here. Lorene is here. Nancy Turner, sorry. Nancy's here. Okay. And Margaret's here. And Nancy Eichstadt's here. And Natalie's here.
Yes.
And Libby. I'm missing Libby. So Libby is not here. Beverly's here. Lanny's here and Leslie's here. Right? Okay, so we're just missing a few folks and maybe they'll hopefully join us soon. So we have some minutes from September 2nd that we need to approve if they're okay. So did everybody have a chance to take a look at those?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve?
I motion that we approve.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second. This is Natalie.
Okay, great. So our September 2nd meeting minutes are approved. And so today we have a review of the final report from the OPSIS team. And we're going to gather. Thank you, honey. We are, bye. We're going to gather any further considerations from the task force. If you read through it and you saw some things that you felt we needed to add or maybe alter slightly, this would be the meeting to do that before it's presented to the board on the 22nd of this month. So Jennifer's going to go through, I think, a small presentation tonight, just to kind of talk through a few things that she thought needed maybe clarification. And other than that, we don't have a lot on our plate, so it's good. So do you want to go ahead, Allison? Are you the next person, or is it Catherine on the updates?
Catherine.
Yeah, I think it's me. Actually, not a lot of things to update you on, except we did finish up the soils testing on the Gladstone property, and there's absolutely nothing remarkable about it. So we're very happy with that. Unremarkable is good. I know the city council amendment passed for about parking, which will allow for no parking on the site, which is good because it's a 9,000 square foot site, as you know. So, so that passed. It had gone through planning commission the last time we met, and now it's gone through city council. So that's good. And maybe Mitzi can give us an update on the library boards. Hi, Mitzi.
I think you're muted.
You can tell she lives in a modern house.
And judging by Mitzi's nonverbal body language, it looks like there might be some technical issues going on. Yep.
Yeah, we can update. We'll do that update at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's all I've got, unless anybody has questions.
Okay.
I think this might be a short meeting.
So I think you're on, Jennifer.
Okay. All right. Well, also Jim is here tonight, so we'll walk through this together. Let me see. I got to make sure are you all seeing that?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. So hopefully you've all had a chance to take a look at it. We we just want you to know that there was an intention that these were to be printed black and white and be lower cost, and the printer made a mistake. So you all got color copies, even though they were supposed to be black and white. So luckily you got to see them in person that way. So I'll go through this fairly quickly since you've all had a chance to look at it. I think where we really want to spend the bulk of our time is making sure that we've captured the task force feedback and the next steps for when we start schematic design. And as we talked last time, we've gathered all the comments, the public comments, and the comments that you all made during many of our meetings. And so we want to make sure that those have been represented accurately. And there have been a few very minor changes in the plan, just some things in the support area. Just we've worked through a little bit more with working through the preferred refinement with our mechanical. And so there's just been a little bit of thinking we've been doing about that, but we can talk through that when we get to the drawings. So I think I'll just start flipping through and just talking through what we were doing and pulling this together. And if you have comments, feel free to stop, or longer discussion maybe we'll save to the end. So hopefully you recognize some of these faces on the cover. We couldn't get everybody, but we tried to get a good representation of different events. Whoops. I'm going to go through some of these things fairly quickly. Just to go through the organization, the general organization of this booklet, obviously acknowledging who's all been involved, and introducing the project and having a concise executive summary that kind of does the big hits of everything we did. That's what the first section talks about. And then we organized in 3 sections. One was really to give all the background information, how this came to be and all the factors that came into this. The second part is really presenting where we ended up with what the preferred alternative was and all the decisions that came to have that come to be. So instead of building up to it, we wanted to make sure we started with that and provided kind of all that background that really talks about these key pieces and the cost, as well as the funding, so that people have an understanding of that. And then the last section was really all the work that went into getting to that recommended design. And so those things all capture all the exercises we did through all the phases, all the key decisions that came out of that. And then the next steps is really the important part, which is the springboard for us to have a lot of conversations in the schematic design phase. And then the last portion, larger renderings of all the things that were produced that we looked at in our meetings, and then all the background information in the appendix, which we did not want to include because there's a lot of information. So I'm just going to keep moving through here, acknowledging everyone who was involved. Obviously, there's quite a few people. So I don't really, Catherine, I don't know if, I'm not going to spend too much time on these things. I think it's really not necessary. None of it's new information. But really, this is, like I said, I'm trying to just distill down, a year's worth of work in 2 pages. How's that? Jim, do you have anything to add to any of that? Feel free to stop me if needed. So that information is repeated in more detail in these sections. Background and history, overall project schedule that we've all been going through. And, we are now here, late summer, late fall, early winter. So this will, whoops. Yeah, and then we'll be starting in our next phase, more like January in this phase, with design and permitting, and then construction. Talking through our task force values, our demographics that we used for outreach, and then getting right into how we arrived at our recommended plan and all our site analysis. talking in a little bit of detail about all the pieces that influence all the things we're looking at when we're going into design, with all the factors of the site and all those things that influence what we do and how we're doing that. So these are really capturing all the exercises we went through with you all through the year. And then the important pieces, which influenced a lot of our decisions in this. You know, it's a small footprint, difficult to fit everything in a small footprint. That was something we thought was important. Having meeting space, really important topic of conversation for us, and how we make flexible meeting space that can become larger or smaller within a small building. And then I think we really want to focus on the character of Gladstone. You know, we had the extra meeting to really hear from you all and talk about the things that influence this area that really will be a starting point for us to discuss when we get into talking about materials and the use of the sorts of things for how the building is when we get into those design phases. Then this section is going into detail about well, evaluation, really talking through what are the things that are important to us in this space. And these are the things that kind of rose to the top in many of our conversations. And then the pieces that came to be very important as we were putting our program together. And this came from input from you all and from the teens and public, talking about those priorities that we have for the library. And then we did include a program with the square footage in the appendix, but this is really talking through the pieces that were important, and then what the recommended program elements are. These are the pieces which we really did try to capture in the plan layout and make sure that we were paying attention to those. A lot of similarities between the two lists, but this really describes the things that are in our library program and how we got there. And the quality of those spaces, you know, that are important about reading areas and areas for children and nature, connection to nature. Jim, do you want to talk about any of the preferred, or I'll just keep on going?
I think just keep going.
Okay.
Jennifer. Yeah.
So we just, as we said, you know, we've done a little bit of work, a little bit more just clean up on the plan. We can get into that a little later. We added an extra door in here because that did get missed the first time. Cleaned up a little bit back here because we have had some conversation. Added a little, sorry, I'm going backward. And then this summarizes all the resources that are available on the website if people want more information. There's a couple more pieces we're going to add in here of existing information that the county has, some hazmat and asbestos, I think, studies that the PBS did on the City Hall site. So just more resources that the website already has. And that's the booklet. So would you like me to pull up the previous page, Catherine, that has the next steps? I mean, you all have your booklet, so you can refer to that if you need, but.
I think everybody should have their report with them, and we're interested in your comments and thoughts. And Allison?
Yeah. I think with the big outcome tonight of our meeting, it could be a short meeting, is to make sure that the comments, as Jennifer noted, were captured correctly. And there isn't a glaring error of something that's missing or that you feel has mischaracterized the spirit of the conversations that this group has had over the past 2 years, I think we've been meeting together. So I'd love to do a round robin to hear from everyone, but I also want to offer some space just for any kind of closing remarks. If you don't have anything to add to the report or any clarifications, I think we're not looking so much for, I know we have some educators in the room, and if you did find, you know, grammatical errors, we want those as well, but maybe you can send those offline or via email, or call Catherine or up after the meeting and let her know. But really, if you have any closing comments, this is a big step. I mean, the report is beautiful. It is a tremendous amount of work that Jennifer and her team have done to put this all together and to get it into your hands. But it also is really representative of the tremendous amount of work that this group has put in and the commitment that you've demonstrated to this library. And I mean, this is it's been a long time coming, right? And this group has kind of continuously demonstrated deep passion and commitment for creating a library that will really serve the needs of your community, and expressing over and over the desire to serve as many people as possible in the community, not just the people who are present in the room. So the round robin is twofold. One, is there anything missing, or do you feel that the comments really capture this group's feedback? And two, do you have any closing comments as we move from this phase into schematic design and the pieces that are yet to come? And I'm actually going to ask our chair and vice chair, Lisa and Lorene, if you'll go first, and then I'll just call on folks based on where you are on my screen. So Lisa, would you like
Well,
to?
I don't have anything that I felt was glaringly missing. I felt like what was in the presentation captured the things that we discussed as a group. So I was happy to see that. I'm just really excited to move forward with design. I can't wait to have a new library like the rest of you. And we may have differences of opinion on a few things of the interior and exterior, but we're going to get a beautiful new library. And I just can't wait to see how it turns out. So I'm excited.
Lorene?
I agree totally. I love it. I think the design looks great. Can't wait to find out about the details of the materials, and I'm excited to see how the maybe some art can be added into it and make Gladstone, that library, look unique. So good job, everybody.
And on that note, I think when we get to Catherine's kind of next steps, we'll talk a little bit about some of those other opportunities, because I know art has been a big piece for this group. I think history has come up as well. So a good mental post-it note for the piece to come. Margaret, you're next up on my screen. I'm wondering if you'd like to say a couple words.
Well, actually, I had a question to start with. On page 31 and what you handed us, it looks like the front doors have been moved to totally on Portland Avenue, and that it's not really covered. And that was my question, because I thought the way we had it set up, it was more that it would be on the corner and pretty much covered by that portico. So if it's raining, when people come in, they won't get wet.
Yeah,
Otherwise-
I might respond. I mean, it really hasn't changed. It may be, you see the plans a little differently, and it's really hard sometimes to read in plan the covered area, but there is a covered canopy that comes all the way out to the corner. And the doors have kind of been in that location for some time. So yeah, no changes there that I'm aware of.
Okay. Otherwise, I'm excited that it's going to be moving forward. And I think one of the big things is going to be figuring out how to screen enough of the teen area that they're going to be satisfied with the privacy.
Yeah, and that's something we're going to explore in more detail. But even in the exterior views that we've shown, the screen element coming down to the ground actually covers, or it's a layer set in front of the windows of the teen area. And we were starting to suggest even landscape that might start to grow up that, really forming more of a trellis. So it's something we heard that comment directly from the teens, and it's kind of branded in our heads that we do need to address that. I think we may have a strategy, but it needs to be developed.
Okay.
Thanks,
I
Margaret.
can just add one point to that too. We did hear that, but that was from one person in the group. So I do want to also note that people, I think the teens really want a variety of experiences in that space. So I think that's what we'll want to make sure is that we have people feel safe, but also give people opportunities to see. And so I'm only saying that because I know we've talked about that a lot, and I just, things tend to go down a road, and I just want to kind of bring that back. That was one comment made by one teen. So, and obviously we know that many teens had many different comments. So
Yeah, and
we
in
will
response to that, Jennifer, too, I mean, the way the layout is right now, that there's a portion of glass that's kind of more open
right.
near the entry, and then as you go further to the north, it's more screened and private. So
Yeah.
there is that currently that kind of combination you're referring to.
Okay.
Thanks, Margaret. Natalie, over to you next.
I really felt that the input, not only from this task force, but the citizens that came to, if you want to call it the open house, I think that was really, all of it was considered and included. So that in itself made this report very good. I love that you're getting creative when it comes to, like, with the mechanical, finding another area to put it other than our very limited floor space. That's awesome. Keep doing that stuff, because we need every bit of square footage for our library patrons. I'm just excited and so happy that this is moving forward, because I've wanted a new library for a long time. So I'm very thrilled with the process.
Thanks, Natalie. Beverly, over to you.
Well, I'm like everybody else. I think that the plans look really good. I think they've you've listened to us, which is very important. But you've listened to us and listened to what comments the people had. I'm sure most people are, the sooner the better. If in any way we can lop some months off of this whole long process, that would be wonderful. And I know that each step takes a certain amount of time, but I'm just anxiously looking forward to a new library.
At opening ceremony or events, it's going to be fun. I can't wait to see you all there.
And I also want to again mention that I think there's quite a few of us that would like to be able to take a swing with a sledgehammer against the old building before it's knocked down.
I know Jackie's here attending the meeting and observing. So Jackie, so noted. Really. Nancy Eichstad, you're next on my screen. Over to you.
Hi, everyone. Beautiful report. You should be really, really proud of it, because I think it's a huge labor of love, and I think we're really getting there. I have a little list of things I'd like to address. Sorry, Jim. Overall design, I think, follows exactly what we've been talking about this entire time. I'm still not sure where we are with the cladding on the outside. I know we spent a whole meeting talking about, the Gladstone look and feel, and I cannot tell from your rendering where you're going with that. I know it's early, and I don't know if you have any thoughts about that yet or want to go there.
Yeah, I don't think we've really brought materials forward and really developed the exterior any further.
Okay.
Other than, starting to suggest where there would be landscape, and but no, that'll be in schematic design.
Okay. Want to make a couple of points. That front entryway, I know there was some concerns from others about the vertical, whatever this is, if it's wood or metal or what that is. It looks to me like an area that might attract bird nesting, depending on whether there's raptors in there or not. I would want to be concerned about that, because we're really good about building those spaces and then having to deal with that issue later on. The other thing that came up as I was thinking about this was all this expanses of glass is going to result in a lot of bird strikes And I know that you know ways of dealing with that, but that's not observed in this design. But I just wanted you to think about that. I'd still like to see an exit from the courtyard to the parking lot where the fire department is, so that they don't have to drag equipment through the library to the courtyard.
Yep.
And then I know it's too early to talk about signage, but every municipal building is going to end up with a sign on it at some point that says library, and that City Hall, you know, it goes up somewhere. There's also a need in the community to put up things like what's happening today, you know, a bulletin board, or a place that can say story time at 10 o'clock or whatever. So I'd like you to just be thinking about that as you're continuing your design process, because otherwise terrible things happen. People stick things on walls and places where you don't want them putting tape and stuff like that. So that's my only consideration. Outside of that, good job, guys. I'm excited. We're on our way.
Great comments. Thank you.
Nancy, are you talking about some type of like outdoor reader board or electronic
You know,
board, or, you know, where you can do like, hey, 30th anniversary, or, you know, things like that?
That tends to happen whether it's planned or not. So that's something Mitzi might want to weigh in on. I don't know if she can talk or not, but the schools all end up doing it. You have to be able to put something somewhere to alert people to something that might be, you know, a one-time event or an occasional thing, rather than library. So I was disappointed that City Hall doesn't have a bulletin board or any place that you can put a poster for what's happening, or the city newsletter or whatever. So it's a need that nobody thinks about ahead of time.
Nancy, I hear what you're saying is that as we get into the design phases, to be thinking about those things early and planning for them.
Yeah.
So they don't become afterthoughts down the road.
There you go. That's right.
And sometimes we're even now integrating it into like a monitor that is a little more built in, and information can kind of change, and it's a way to kind of reduce some of the clutter and just the randomness of taping things up, or it's a combination, you know.
Consolidate.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks for those comments.
Great thoughts.
Yeah. Okay, Deborah, you're next on my screen. Over to you.
Well, I'm just really excited that we got this far, and that there's a fair amount of consensus on what we're looking at. I think that's really important as we move forward. And I'm just eager to see what the rest of the process is.
Thanks, Deborah. And I love that you're joining us from the mountains today.
It's our chalet in Switzerland.
Nice.
Wonderful.
We're spending the fall there.
Thanks, Deborah. Nancy Turner, over to you.
I think it's really captured what everyone's been talking about in concerns. I saw bits and pieces of things that people have been concerned about. I'm still absolutely shocked when I see the date of construction. It just hurts to see that we're still 2 to 3 years out. I think that's my big concern, is that that keeps getting put out there farther and farther. I don't know if anyone else is going to say that. I see a lot of nodding heads, but I really like the layout of the library. I think it's very inviting, and it's bright and open and looks like it will meet the needs of the community. So on that, I'm really happy about. So good job, team. And thank you, Catherine, for that little present today on my doorstep. So.
Yes. Yeah, thanks, Catherine.
Thanks, Nancy. And
You're very welcome.
Catherine, just who knew that you have this side career as a
As a caterer.
bag creator? Very good. Very good.
Actually, it was your colleague, Allison, Tracy Height, who delivered them all. So we have Tracy to thank.
Tracy, yeah, she was the Christmas elf.
Yes.
Team effort, but Catherine put them together. Okay, Leslie, over to you. You're next up on my screen.
Unmute. I guess I'm just really impressed that for both projects, there was a real consensus among the team about which alternative was the best. And when the community was asked to weigh in, there was a consensus there as well. And the community agreed with the task force. So I just think that this is a process that has been so successful in taking words, some of which are fairly non-specific, and making them into something concrete that the people who have said those words can look at and say, oh, yes, this is it. This is what my words meant. And here is this wonderful space that meets my ideas of what those words should have meant. So it's just from an intellectual standpoint, it was very interesting to see how this all unfolded. You know, seeing all of you folks periodically, once a month at least, and hearing what you have to say. And it used to be much nicer when we got to actually interact in person, but that we've been able to carry on in spite of this pandemic and move forward. It's just been a very satisfying project to be involved with. And everybody, I think, should be very proud, and I think is, about their contributions. And I certainly appreciate somebody knocking on my door and giving me this nice little bag of goodies. So thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. May, over to you next. May, are you there? Can you hear me?
Sorry.
All good.
I need to apologize for my daughter screaming. She was upset that I have a meeting again.
Aww.
But I'm impressed by the entire process because I feel like our voice are valued and have been considered and become the real elements of the new library. I'm excited for it, and my daughter hasn't been able to enter the building, so every time I order the books at the library, she has to either sit in the car wait for me or just pick up the books outside the door. She has been asking why we cannot get in. So I told her that, well, next time you go, when you can get in to the library, it will be a new library. It will be a new surprise. So she's really looking forward to it. And I don't have much to add. I agree what everyone says. I'm excited for the next step.
Thanks, May.
Oh, thank you, Catherine, for the gifts as well. Thank you.
Thanks, May. Todd, you're next up on my screen, and welcome.
Hello. Well, I was happy with the work. I thought y'all did a very good job. And I'm happy with the process and ready to move on. That's about it, though. Then I also reflect on the observations of others, particularly Beverly.
Go ahead.
The time frame is regrettable, but is what it is. So let's go.
Short and sweet. Thanks, Todd. How about Lanny? Over to you.
Well, I pretty much agree with just about everything everybody has said. It was very nice to have a gift arrive on my front porch this afternoon. So thank you, Catherine. The one thing I'm unhappy about still is the exterior of the building. I think the vertical slats look like a jail, and there's nothing welcoming or interesting about it. To me, it looks cold and it looks like a jail. And I really hope we can make some changes to add something to change it. I would like to get rid of those vertical slats. But other than that, I think we're on track and doing a good job, but we need to think about the exterior a lot more to make it friendlier. But good job, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Lanny.
And I'm going to eat my chocolate tonight.
Yes, as you should. Thanks, Lanny. Christy, over to you in your beautiful garden, or a beautiful garden.
Sorry I was late to the party, kids. My bathroom is being remodeled and had to go over some stuff with the contractor, and then it was like, oh crap, the meeting. So I agree with everybody. I didn't have as much time to look at the materials as I would have liked because I always prepped just before and then got out of work late anyway. But yeah, I think we're on the right track. Just throwing this out there is kind of take it for what or dismiss it. I don't care. But do we want to try to have a Gladstone Library logo or color scheme or something that we want to use for, sending out newsletters or materials or something that identifies us as the library? I know the city has a new logo and that's great, but I don't know, has the Gladstone Library ever had a logo? So is this something that we want to think about with color schemes and whatever? So just tossing that out there. I agree with Nancy. I think having some type of community reader board or some way where things just aren't randomly getting tacked up or whatever, that we have a way to notify when an event is coming, if it's for teen night or whatever, or book clubs or author events, whatever, just to kind of announce it and possibly be a community board too. It might be a way to, like if you want to say happy birthday to John Smith, we ask that you have a $5 donation to do that, and then that would go toward a little fundraising too for books or programs or whatever. So just food for thought. But thank you for the gift, and I appreciate all your hard work. You guys are super awesome.
Christy. Okay, I think that's everyone. Oh yeah, Beverly, over to you. Oh, Beverly, you're muted.
I've been so wrapped up in puppy, I didn't know I had a gift on my front door. So thank you, Catherine. I got up and went out to get it. I have a pocket door between my living room and the family room kitchen area that I'm keeping shut because it helps confine puppy to a smaller area. So I've been too busy with him. But thank you very much, Catherine. It's very nice.
Thanks for that, Beverly. And Nancy, thanks for piping into the chat. Sounds like Libby, if you're calling in, can you press *9 on your phone and then I can add you in? I think I can see you in the attendees list. But Nancy noted in the chat that Libby's listening. She can't comment. She says thanks for the goodies and is looking forward to seeing the building design unfold. So Libby, if you can raise your hand, you can press *9 on your phone. I can get you into the meeting so we can hear your voice. But thank you for letting Nancy know that you're here. Okay, is that Libby? Can you unmute yourself? Libby, are you there? You can unmute yourself and maybe we can hear from you. Oh, technology. We've all, it's just, it's fun, isn't it? I can't wait until we can see each other in person again. Okay, so Libby, we'll try and work on getting Libby into the meeting, but Catherine, well, actually, I'm wondering if Jennifer, Jim, Catherine, you've been here alongside the process as well. Do you kind of have any closing thoughts as we move into the next phase, or anything you'd like to share with the group before we get into next steps? Maybe Jim, you're unmuted, so maybe I'll go Jim, Jennifer.
Oh, I can go then. Yeah, we found it very rewarding, to work with all of you to get to this point. It's certainly a reflection of your values, your aspirations for the project, and we're excited to move forward and, have the exterior and the interior, the whole package be something you're all really excited about. We have some work to do, and I think all the comments brought up tonight are fantastic. Just really excited to move forward. I do want to just give a special shout out. This report was really an act of love by Jennifer and Ellen and Catherine. I mean, that triad really pulled this together and just did an amazing job. I wasn't that involved with it, and I just want to give credit to those three. They just killed it. They just did a great job. So
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
yeah.
Well, you did a lot of work early on.
Yeah.
And Ray.
Well, you guys made up for it.
Well, I
it was
want to give
anyway,
credit
team
to Ray.
effort.
Yeah.
It's a real team effort for sure.
Jennifer, did you want to say a few things?
Oh, no, I just thank you, Jim. That's really sweet. And I do want to acknowledge Ray's work, Johnston Architects as well, because we really did have a really fun collaborative experience so far. So looking forward to moving on. And he was not, I don't think he's able to be here tonight. He's traveling. So I know he would feel the same.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Jennifer, or excuse me, Catherine, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Allison. I'm really, it's heartfelt that there's a lot of all these wonderful words that are being said tonight. Also, we take to heart the constructive criticism that you are so good at giving us, and we will definitely include those things in the report that we will take to the board. I do want to, we don't get very many opportunities to just sort of reflect and appreciate all of the good things that have happened, especially in 2020. It's been kind of hard. So I just wanted to thank all of my colleagues who have been working really hard on this. Laura Zentner couldn't be here tonight, but she's been a terrific leader for the project. And Liz Lawson is here. She's taken notes forever on the project. And Ellen Rogalin, as Jim mentioned, has been the editor-in-chief and also sort of the whisperer for the project. Really appreciate Ellen, even though she's behind the Canby Ferry there and won't let us see her. Amber's been our technical chief, chief.
Yeah.
Scott Archer from NCPRD has been also very much involved. You haven't seen him as much. He's more at the Concord meetings. He now is the city manager for the city of Canby. So I know he would like to say goodbye if he could have, but he started yesterday, so he had to run. Candy Ho is, actually, I see her in the audience. She is picking up a lot of the work that Scott did as an interim basis, along with Allegra Wilhite, who is also in the audience. Then, of course, there's Mitzi, our steadfast librarian. Thank you, Mitzi, for being a partner in crime in this and keeping me on the straight and narrow and all library things. But really, what I really want to do is thank the task force. You know, you guys, I was looking it up. First, you know, Beverly and Nancy were on the selection committee. So we have a lot to thank there for those two for selecting OPSIS, who also did a terrific job. And there have been, since the first meeting when you met OPSIS, it wasn't your first meeting, but the first one where you met OPSIS, it was July 31st, 2019. And since then, there have been 18 meetings. So you guys have worked really hard. You know, we get paid for our work. You guys volunteered. You do it because you believe in your community. And I really just want to thank you for your time and your service. And this is not the end. This is the beginning. This is just kind of the end of the phase. And I want to acknowledge how much work you've done and what a wonderful job you did as a group and as a team. So thank you.
Well, hey, we got a swag bag tonight, so, you know, it's all good.
Thanks for that, Catherine. Thanks for acknowledging all the folks behind the scenes. And sometimes
Allison, I want to thank you for helping facilitate all these meetings.
Yeah.
Because it's been
Yes,
my
Allison.
pleasure. Thank you.
Because you can double that when we add Concord in there, so.
And a big shout out to Catherine.
Absolutely. Thank you, Catherine.
It's really fun.
Go ahead, Nancy.
Is this report going to be posted on the website where others can see it? Is it a public document?
It is. So right now, in terms of bureaucracy, the way it works is it's considered a draft report. We will take your comments and then it becomes a final draft report. And then we'll take it to the board and then it will become a final report. The document that you have is up on the web with a few minor tweaks to some some spelling errors and things we found quickly, but yeah, all of those drafts will be on the web. We have a new button on the website that says master plan reports, and you can just click on that, and then you can also get all of the appendix with all of that technical information for nights when you just really can't sleep and you need to read.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, with that, in our agenda, I think we're moving into some next steps. And Mitzi, we were going to have an update from you at the top of the meeting, but I'm wondering if we can test that to see if your audio is working so we can hear from you at the end of the meeting, and then we'll move into public comment. Ooh, no dice. Is it your, oh, no, still not working. I think we tried to merge the two.
Volume level at all, maybe?
Maybe try now, or maybe try unmuting your phone, Mitzi.
Is that any better?
I hear you.
Yes.
Oh, and I fall to the stars. So I was supposed to give a library board update earlier in the meeting, and I just wanted to let everybody know where we are in that process of combining the two library boards. We do finally have a final draft for the bylaws so that we can officially form this new library board. It will go before the Board of County Commissioners on the 24th, and then it should be adopted, we're hoping, on the 25th. We should be able to start the recruitment at that point. We've gone through a very long process where we involved multiple meetings with both of the library boards. We had a subcommittee, we had an optional meeting here for the task force, and we've collected everybody's feedback, and we've done our best to incorporate that feedback into the bylaws and the details of the representation for that library board. I will be in touch when we are able to get the recruitment posted. I'll make sure that the foundation, the library board, the task force, that everyone knows where to find the application if they're interested in applying for those positions. I did want to make one comment, if I could. I did hear that one person had commented that the project keeps getting pushed back, and I just wanted to clarify that we are still in the same start date that we had from the very beginning on this project. If you go back to the City Council meeting that was on November 12th, 2019, before we had this contract with OPSIS, we were referencing a start date of spring 2022. So we are still on track. I realize it's not fast enough for everyone. We're doing our best to speed it up when possible, but we are not behind in this process. We are right on track.
Thank you, Mitzi. Well, while we've got Mitzi up and running, any questions for Mitzi? Okay. From what I can see from your faces, that looks like everybody's good. So glad we were able to hear from Mitzi, and thank you for providing that update. Catherine, I think it's back over to you.
Oh, thanks, Allison. Also, so I had this wonderful segue plan to also acknowledge Jackie Betts, who you guys all know has been terrific on the project as well. And I was curious if Jackie, I know you're in the audience, but if you wanted to say a few words. Oh, look, she came in.
Hey.
Jackie, are you there? Hi, Jackie.
How are you all? I don't know. I came in the back door on this meeting, so I apologize for that. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so proud of all of you. I'm so excited for Gladstone. You've made such a huge commitment, and my promise to the city council and to the citizens has been we're going to get that library. And so I am excited to get on to the next step. You know, we're doing some things that we can behind the scenes. The city council approved the text amendment to remove the off-street parking restraint. So that's going to help as we go through the construction phase. Tonight, the city council is going to dissolve the current library board. It kind of follows up what Mitzi was saying, what the next steps are with Clackamas County. But I just want you guys to be very proud of your accomplishment. This is a legacy project for Gladstone. And I'm excited to help you get through the next phases. So thank you.
Thanks, Jackie. Okay, well, we've got Jackie on the horn. Any questions for Jackie? Okay, nonverbal body language seems to indicate no. Thanks, Jackie, for bouncing in. Appreciate you being here. And for all the meetings that you attend. Folks attend a lot of meetings. It's pretty awesome. Okay, Catherine, I think you're going to tell us a little bit about the next steps, and then we'll move into
I think when I was answering Nancy's question, you know, we're going to pick up your comments. We're going to pick up any typos we found, and maybe a few other little things, but nothing substantial, except for your comments tonight. We will make it a final draft report. We'll take it to the Board of County Commissioners on November 24th at 2:15. It's a policy session. Your fearless chair has agreed to attend the meeting, Lisa. Thank you. And say a few words to help represent you all and also the public in the process. So we're looking forward to that. I don't see anything that would cause them not to approve this at the policy session. Can't imagine it. So I'm really excited to go there. And then Jennifer and Jim and I are going to start working on a scope of work for the next phase, which, as Jennifer's told us before, it's schematic design. So we're going to work hard on that, and then we will get ready to go, and we'll come back and tell you what sort of the timeline and the process is. We know a lot more now, but we do need to dive into scoping out that work. And then we're just going to do it. So it's that easy. So unless you have any questions, I don't have much more detail to share.
Anything from any of the task force members? Catherine, I don't know if you can, you might not be able to, but I'm conscious of Lorraine's comment earlier about, things like art and some of those check-in spaces. And do you have anything to report? Are there kind of any roles that you could for the task force that you can anticipate going forward?
Yeah, I don't have anything to report. We will want to know, let's see, I know that you have expressed a desire to have integrated art on the project, and that it helps to identify the building as belonging in Gladstone. So I think we've heard that. I know that the foundation has some funds that I've heard that you would like to spend on the building. So we'll have to, sort that out, sort of how that happens. As far as fundraising,
Can't hear you, Catherine.
What? You can't hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. The foundation is essentially the nonprofit for this library that has been fundraising for the project. Any other fundraising, we don't have a plan for that at this point. If there is an intention to do other fundraising, we need to talk about how that might happen and where the money goes and things like that.
Okay, so more to come.
Yeah, more to come.
To follow, and that those kind of comments and consistent themes that have come up are certainly not forgotten. They're just going to be developed in the next few months.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, Lisa, there you are. Are you okay if we roll it out to public comment?
Yeah.
Okay. So folks, if you are here and you would like to give public comment this evening, I'd ask that you raise your hand. So you can do that in your participants window and hover over your name and raise your hand virtually. I can see one raised hand, and I believe that's Libby, who should be in our meeting. But if anybody else is here who would like to give public comment, go ahead and raise your hand and I can let you speak. We'll just hold a little bit of awkward silence. Oh, there we go. We've got one. Okay, so Avery, I'm going to allow you to speak in a second. If you can introduce yourself for the record, and I'll give you I think we allow up to 3 minutes for public comment, but I'll just let you know when it's time. So Avery, welcome in. Can you hear us? Can you unmute yourself?
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Sure can. Go right ahead.
It's actually Avery because my daughter's Zooming for high school. So it's her ID, but I'm Keisha. Hi there. I just wanted to say thanks to all of you guys hugely, because I'm sure, I've been hearing it's just been a lot of work, and I'm just really excited about the new library. I know years ago we were going to have one and it didn't happen, and it's very exciting. So thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us, and thanks for your comment this evening. Is anyone else here to give public comment? I'm not seeing anything. So if any folks that are out there this evening would like to submit something in writing, you're welcome to send it to the project team and to Catherine, and that can be circulated with the task force. I have a tickle in my throat, so I'm going to pass it back over to Lisa, because I think it might be that time to close things up.
So I didn't get a chance to thank you, Catherine, for the goodie bag. So thank you so much. That was really thoughtful.
You're welcome.
And our next meeting will be in January. There's no meeting in December. Is that correct, Catherine?
Yeah. And we actually don't even have a date for January yet. We'll have to work that out.
So to be announced. But thanks everyone for all your hard work. The OPSIS team and the county team and our team. Thanks to everybody. Stay well. And other than that, we'll see you in January sometime, somehow.
Well, everybody have a great Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah. Happy
Yes.
holidays.
Happy holidays all.
Stay well, everybody.
Hey, if possible, I think it's Keisha or Avery's person. I'm going to unmute you again. Can you just say your full name? I don't think we quite captured it for the record.
Oh, sure. It's Keisha, spelled Kecia, And my last name is Melton, Melton, like Avery's.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Hi, folks.
Goodbye.
Thanks.
Enjoy your holidays.
Thank
Happy
you,
holidays.
everyone. Thank Lisa. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Lorraine,
Thank you,
for
Lorraine.
all of your work.
Thank you, John Boy. See you